feel like such an adult right now. I just completed an hour-and-a-half interview with the founder and director of the Ben Linder Foundation. I had walked there during a blackout, got there, calling her name through the gate, but because of the sound of the generator, she couldn't hear me. I almost climbed the fence to break in and do an interview, but I didn't. I had started knocking the candado, the lock, against the metal frame until she heard me and came out. But then walking on my way home, I haven't really eaten today. Stopped at the street vendor and asked what she had and bought something. And then I was walking home. I had a folder in my hand of information that this woman had given me, plus this delicious plate of food, fried bananas and an empanada. And it just occurred to me that I feel so grown up. Here I am, alone, in a country, but I've been here 3 weeks, but this is really the first time I've been alone in that 3 weeks. Walking back from the interview where I got a lot of really good information, and I get something cheap to eat for dinner. I'm walking home after a blackout, rains cleaned the streets, and I'm seeing these dogs and cats, people walking around. Got my plate full of dinner and heading back to my hostel, where I'm gonna sit and talk to myself for a bit. And if that's not being an adult, I don't know what is. So I started this little video to capture such a magical moment in my life as a new 24-year-old. But I also wanted to capture some things on culture. I haven't really been focusing on culture really even since I graduated from Humboldt. So let's talk about some Nicaraguan cultural things. For example, you do not say hello. You don't say hola when you pass on the street, you say adios. And I was first told that you say adios because it really means Dios, which means to God. And so you're saying to God, you to God, me to God, we're all to God. But in reality, it's still the word for goodbye. So instead of saying hello, you say goodbye, which is interesting. And when you say goodbye, you say goodbye you say goodbye to someone as they're passing you, as you're walking by them, except apparently older folk don't say adios, they say oi. Oi, oi. Or, it's not that, that sounded very punkish. They don't say it like that, they say oi instead of adios. Neither of which say hola. So that's kind of an interesting cultural concept. Also, something interesting culturally on the buses, when the bus stops. So we were driving up from Matagalpa. We passed through this town called, sounded like Daisy. It's not Daisy. And it was like the zombie apocalypse. People rushed the bus, coming in from all sides. And they came up with gaseosa, which means soda pop. 10 go to the bus for a soda pop, which at that point I had already puked out the side of the bus and I wasn't feeling very great. But they were holding up chicken in the air, they were holding up soda, they were holding up vigorón, which is a kind of cabbage dish, holding up little bags of water, which, to my great gratitude, the bus driver actually bought me one. Bought me a little bag of water, which was cold, and he gave it to his little bus assistant. Bus assistant brought it back to me. I was sitting in the middle of the bus, thinking I was going to puke again. He gave it to me and put it on my forehead and felt a lot better. Actually interesting, not so culturally, but just personal experience. So what had happened, I was feeling kind of ill, and so I said, "Excuse me, sir that I trust without really knowing, will you watch my big red noticeable green backpack, please?" He says yes. So So I walked to the front of the bus, crawl around people, because you cram a lot of people into a school bus. And I said to the bus boy who was standing right next to the door, I was like, I do something like this. Pointed outside the door. I would like this to be out there, I said, in so many words. And so that happened, and then I was like, okay, excuse me, sir. Pushed him to the side and went on the side of the bus. And that was my fascinating story. Walked back to the back of the bus, still feeling a little shitty. And after we stopped in Daisy, this woman got on with her son, who had scraped up his chin real bad, and her little daughter, who apparently her name was Jenny. And just like my sister, Jenny, does on long car trips, she kind of fell into my lap and fell asleep, which I thought was kind of sweet. Well, she was maybe 3 years old, sleeping on my lap. And then I was sleeping because I was exhausted. And anyway, the whole point of that was to tell you that vendors hop on buses. They hop on buses, and even if the bus is running, they'll run with a big bag of guavas or a big bag of chicken or chips. They have a little, I'm not going to eat any dinner. They have little metal frames, and from the metal frames they filled plastic bags filled with potato chips, or in this case banana chips, lots of banana chips. And you tie it to the metal pole, and then attached somehow, either on your hat or in your bag somewhere, is a plastic bottle filled with chili sauce, chili pepper. When someone buys the bag of banana chips, they open it, you squirt in the chili, and then that's how you eat it. I have not bought one. Doesn't sound anything appealing to me. But fried bananas. Yes, I will eat fried bananas. So that's an interesting cultural thing. There's obviously the machismo that I haven't felt too strongly, actually. I'm going to say that out loud, maybe for myself, because when I look at things in retrospect, everything seems exaggerated, but at this very moment, I don't feel like I have been victim. Okay, a little bit, but not strongly a victim of machismo. Part of it has to do with the way that you walk, which for me, I have been walking like this, with my neck as stretched out as I can get forward. It's all about the neck. It's not about tilting, because you don't want to look like una fresa. It's about how long you can get your neck, how straight you can get your shoulders. And people have been leaving me alone for the most part. People call me precious. Men's a whistle, or just say, hey, beautiful, but nothing intimidating as of yet. Here's an interesting story as I talk to myself instead of eating dinner. So I ended up buying this beautiful piece of artisanal jewelry for 3 reasons, just like there are 3 spirals. Copper. This is made of copper. And my motherland, Chile, produces a lot of copper. The symbolism was learned by this artisan from someone who'd studied Gaelic culture, fatherland, Ireland. And for a Nicaraguan person to make it, and for him to stumble into Casa Abiyala with a piece of copper swirled into Celtic design, which talking about the balance of the earth and the universe. Of course I'm going to buy it. And I'm very happy with it. See, this is what being an adult is like. Except I also have to eat as an adult. And I've been constantly reminded that I don't eat enough. And so I'm going to do that now. 10-minute video Adulthood. Wah! Love y'all.